So let's talk about Aunt Sally's house. Tell me about it.
Mama Sally's house is a real house. This house, this setting that you see here was located about 3.5 miles south of Alto, Louisiana, off of Louisiana 135. This house was built by my great-grandfather and great-grandmother, who were slaves, who came out of Marion County, Alabama. The 1880 census have them in Mississippi, in that county where Yazoo, in that general area. That county had more slaves than any place in this country. That's where they had lived for a while. At the end of slavery, somewhere in that time, they met each other, and because they couldn't purchase land in Mississippi at that time, they came to Louisiana, not knowing where they were going. They too were using Dr. Bethune's faith, and they got off of the train in Rayville, Louisiana, and they found their way many miles south along Beth River. To make this story short, they bought 88 acres of prime farmland that was covered with trees at the time. They cleared a few acres and built a kitchen. The little house that's on this side, you can barely see it. That's a kitchen house. That kitchen house was where he and his wife and 3 children lived, in the kitchen. They lived there until he could clear more land because the sons were too small. And they cleared land and grew, and they expanded. And in time, he built that house that you're looking at there. That's a 3-bedroom dog trot house with 3 fireplaces. And the front building that you see here, that's a blacksmith shop. My great-grandpa couldn't read and write, but he could count. My grandmama could read and write. That was a blacksmith shop. He was a blacksmith. His family grew up there. My maternal grandparents, the Hendricks, my great-grandparents were Hendricks. My mom's parents were Hendricks. I spent much of my formative years in this location from time to time with my grandparents. The memoir that I'm working on now, it begins in this setting with my grandmother and I walking across this yard from the house to the kitchen. So that's what you see here. Now, hidden in this piece, as there are in most of my paintings, more than just what you think you're seeing there. So what the scene that you see here would be a typical scene on a beautiful sunny day with my grandmother walking across the yard that was dirt, packed dirt from bare feet, trodden constantly. So much traffic to no grass dared to grow there. And so we played under that pecan tree. All of the pecan trees, with the exception of one, are still standing. My great-grandparents planted those pecan trees. My family meet there periodically in family reunions. They now come from all over this nation back to this place. We still own those 88 acres.
The house is no longer standing?
Yes, the house is no longer standing.
And Mama Sally was your maternal grandmother?
Yes. The heat of Louisiana sun.
I get it.
Yes. and working, fortunately for me, I didn't have to work in the fields. My first cousins said I was stupid for leaving Monroe, coming out there to help them work in the fields. And I probably was. Took a long time to get past stupid. But had I not done that, I wouldn't have had that experience and the joy. That was more fun. There are more stories I can tell you about this pecan tree than any of us have time to sit and listen.
Wouldn't you love to go to one of those reunions?
Yeah. Some I don't dare tell you also.
Mama Sally's house. What a wonderful piece. And is this also in your personal collection, Don?
Yes.